let's take a look at our top selections for Dan Illman, Mike Beer kicking off Saturday's Saudi Cup card with the opening race. And it is a middle distance race on the turf called the Neom Turf Cup. Let's throw up the field. We're going about 1 mile and 5/16. And we've got the number 2 Channel Maker in here at 6-1. And Channel Maker has always been a talented horse, Mike. I've always been a huge fan. I've been wrong about him all the time. I thought his career was over last summer, and Bill Mott got him good again. 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Turf after a couple of big efforts in New York.
Yeah, he really did turn it around. Listen, Dan, when he won the Sword Dancer at Saratoga last summer, I personally chalked that up entirely to the surface. He caught a really soft, boggy turf course that this horse really likes, and I thought that was the only reason he won that Grade 1. I was wrong. He came back with 2 more big efforts after that.
This is a horse that you kind of know what's going to happen with him at the break. If the jock has to start scrubbing on him to get position, you get worried. If he breaks like he did in the Breeders' Cup Turf, he's going to establish position, if not outright get to the lead, and I'd try to make the front here.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, I feel like this horse is at his best when he's able to make the lead, and I think that it is very telling at the start for this horse. If he doesn't get to the lead, and you're on him, I feel like you have to start worrying. But if he breaks and he gets to the top in here, he's going to be very tough to beat.
There are some good horses in this field, and we'll take them in post-position order, beginning with the number 7, Sultan Stahl, who won last time out over a synthetic surface at Dundalk in Ireland. He's coming off a little bit of a layoff. He has never raced on dirt, but he's a real honest 7-year-old.
He's very honest. He's facing some, pretty good horses in this race. And the form at the end of last year was actually very good. So we'll see if he can carry it forward.
The number 1 is Alhamduni, who is based in Saudi Arabia and has been racing on dirt. As a matter of fact, he has not raced on turf since May of 2018. He is 0 for 7 lifetime on the surface. He has the look of a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a horse who doesn't really have any turf form, and he's facing some legit turf horses in here.
And here's Channel Maker's effort in the Breeders' Cup Turf. I liked the ride Manny Franco gave him. He tried to win it at the 3/8 pole, stretching out the lead, and he has a clear lead at the 3/16. He's going to be run down by 2 good European runners. The runner-up Magical would come back to run 3rd in the Hong Kong Cup. He finished ahead of 2 next out winners. He's finishing as best he can in this race. These are just 2 good Europeans that run him down.
Yeah, he gets run down by 2 world-class fillies in this race. I mean, there's 2 very, very good horses that took to beat him, and that just tells you how good this horse got at the end of last year. If he runs that race, he probably wins here.
Staunch is another dirt horse based in Saudi Arabia. This is the number 9. He at least has had some success on turf, but think about this. He hasn't raced on turf since September of 2016. This is a big ask.
Maybe it's just time to come back to turf with this horse, Dan. I don't know what this horse is going to do in here. His overall record is fine. It feels like he's up against this field.
Kuwait Currency, another dirt horse based in Saudi Arabia. When he did run on turf in 2019 in England, he was more of a handicapper. This is a big step up in class.
Yeah, those last 2 turf races last summer, they were not good.
I think the 11 Four White Sox is interesting a little bit at a giant price, maybe to sneak into the number. This horse won a Group 3 starts back in Ireland, then went away for a long time, has raced twice this meet in Saudi Arabia, both on dirt. It's apparent he can't stand up under. Maybe he can't stand up at all. Maybe the long layoff's an indicator that he can't run anymore, but I'm just going to chalk that up to the dirt. He at least has a race or 2. She at least has a race or 2 on turf that would make her somewhat competitive.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to look at her, all depending on what kind of price she is. It's hard to, be too down on her for the only 2 races since the layoff, Dan, because they're dirt races. So as bad as she was, I mean, how much do you really want to care about that? She feels like a turf horse.
Gronkowski, it's been a long and winding road for this horse. He was a very promising synthetic horse in 2018. He's the answer to the trivia question, who finished second to Justify when Justify completed the Triple Crown in the Belmont. He went back to Dubai and ran second in the World Cup in 2019. He had a very abbreviated campaign last year, Mike, and I'm not sure about this switch back to turf. I mean, wasn't the whole hype about Gronkowski was that he was a dirt horse?
That might have been. I don't remember the hype anymore. It was so long ago. If there was ever hype, I guess. I'll say this about him. The only thing that I would like about him in here is that he's switching surfaces. Personally, I never liked him as a dirt horse. I know he was second in the Belmont. I know he missed by a nose in the Dubai World Cup. I don't like his dirt races at all. And when you go back to the beginning of his career, he was actually pretty good on the other surfaces. He's only raced on turf twice. They were the first two starts of his career. He was a green mess both times and actually didn't run poorly at all. And they put blinkers on him and he got really good on synthetic. I don't know. I actually think the interesting thing is that he's switching over to turf for this.
And he classes up very well with several of these horses. The 8 is Star of Winds, another horse switching surfaces. He's raced on turf overseas with some success against much weaker competition. His recent dirt race wasn't very good. The prior dirt efforts were okay, but a similar boat to some of the others in that I'm not sure how good he is on turf.
Yeah, well, he seems like and at least in his defense, he's very lightly raced, and it seems like he handles all three surfaces. So, maybe coming back to turf, a surface he's won twice over, maybe this is fine for this horse, and he could still improve.
Fascinating Invader is true self. This is a horse that races, it seems, his summers in England, in the fall in Australia, and he does very well in Australia. Two-time winner of their Group 3 Queen Elizabeth Stakes. This horse ran well last time out. I don't think distance is that much of an issue. Maybe it's a little bit far for her, but she's okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've run her in some pretty tough races, and sometimes she holds her own. Her win last time, and I was back in Australia, she actually ran pretty well in there. She got a good trip overall, but she was in a lot of traffic in the stretch, and a couple of horses got the jump on her in there, and it looked like she was hopeless. She came with a really good finish to close that race down at the end. I thought she ran really well last time.
Emirates Knight is the number 3 in this race. Emirates Knight has won on all 3 surfaces, dirt, synthetic, and turf, coming off of a disappointing effort on dirt against Saudi Cup-bound Derevo. Emirates Knight, again, another horse who's run okay races on turf. I'm not sure those okay races are good enough to beat the top names in here.
Yeah, I didn't think they were either. I don't really like his turf form that much.
I think For the Top is somewhat interesting. He began his career with actually began his career in Southern California, where he was a Group 1 winner. Then he went to Bob Baffert, where he ran against some tough competition, obviously. Ran the Pacific Classic, was third in the Grade 3 Cougar, the second handicap, going a mile and a half. Now he has been overseas. What about turf for this horse? I thought he ran okay in that Group 2 against Ben Battle, who's a pretty good turf horse, but most of his accolades have come on dirt.
Yeah, I'm worried about this horse switching surfaces again. That Ben Battle that beat him in Dubai last year is a good horse, but this horse, to me anyway, he sucked up for second in there. I didn't think he ran that well. The horse that finished third in there actually ran the second best race because he tried to take the race to Ben Battle in there and he paid the price for it. This horse sucked up and got second.
The horse the channel maker must fear the most is the 10 Tilsit. This horse is a Group 3 winner on turf, was in against a tough horse, Kamiko, last time out. Kamiko won that Chadwell Joel Stakes and I think was the beaten favorite in the Breeders' Cup Mile. This horse has a ton of upside potential. The question is distance. Does he want to go a little bit further than a mile? That's a big question, but he just fits this race, I think, to a T.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, he's got a lot to prove, obviously, but he's got a huge pedigree for top connections. His first 2 starts were both really good. I know it was a different surface. He ran really well both times, and he looked good winning that Group 3 and is only his 3rd career start. I mean, he was so green in that race that he could have potentially been disqualified for interfering with another horse, but he was much the best that day. He faced a good field last time and acquitted himself well. And when you see him, Dan, I've only been able to see him on video, obviously. He's a big, good-looking horse. I think he's going to handle the extra distance.
Favored in the overseas market over channel maker. Let's take a look at our top pick for the Neom Turf Cup to kick off the Saturday Saudi card. That's where Mike's going. Tilsit the 10. Oh, channel maker, I've always been wrong. Just go right to the top. And let's see if you can bottom this field out. 2, 10, 7, 12 for me. 10, 2, 5, 12 for Mike. Tilsit, lots of upside.
He got a lot of upside. I'm actually rooting for channel maker, Dan. I just couldn't trust him quite enough to put him on top.
It'll be a fun race to kick off the Saturday Saudi Cup card with the Neom Turf Cup. Best of luck.